Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 7 preview between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Bucs. Mike Glennon did some good things last week versus Philadelphia, and to his credit, he also did some good things versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now this week versus the Atlanta Falcons, he can't be late or get lax in his reads or throws, because versus the Falcons, those late or errant passes will result into interceptions. They're very talented in their secondary. And what a great game by tight end Tim Wright last week versus the Eagles, and if he can continue to emerge, that'll answer the question about the hole in the middle of the Bucs passing game. And on the defensive side of the football, we know the Atlanta Falcons are struggling up front with their offensive line. They're struggling to pick up the blitz. They're struggling to recognize stunts, and they're also struggling to blow people off the ball. So if I'm the Buccaneers, I would run different types of games, which are stunts, up front to confuse those blocking assignments, so that way they can stop the running game of the Falcons and also get pressure on Matt Ryan. Now let's move over to the Falcons in this ball game, and right off the bat, offensively, they have to find their identity. Right now, they were known as a spread team. They want to spread the field, throw the football down the field, or take advantage of the passing game underneath. But without Julio Jones and a hobbled Roddy White, I'd go with more of an ace set. I think they have two excellent tight end options in Tony Gonzalez and Levine Tololo. So I would go with those double tight end sets with more inside zone, outside zone, and a play action pass game off of it. I think they can move the football effectively out of those formations. And in the running game, I would go quick. You have a very good option in the backfield, and Jaquiz Rodgers, go quick in the running game. Those traps, those gut plays, and I think he can have some success on the ground this week versus Tampa. Now, defensively for Atlanta, they're fine in the secondary. I think this week versus a young quarterback in Mike Glennon, the pressure has to come from within. Normally, you want to get pressure from within when you're facing a mobile guy, but his pocket presence is excellent. He steps up in the pocket, so you want to make sure he doesn't do that. You have to get pressure between an A and B gap in order to get him on the ground. But like I said before, I trust the Falcons on the back end. They can get aggressive versus the Bucs wide receivers, and that way they can slow up that timing of the passing game. This week versus the Atlanta Falcons, you have to look at young quarterback Mike Glennon, who has done some good things so far this season for the Bucs. In a situation where you have an uncovered receiver at the line of scrimmage, you want an audible to a quick pass to that uncovered guy. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say they go spread, and you see how this guy is technically uncovered. The backer hasn't walked out. The strong safety isn't over top. He's back in his deep half. So that's a play where you want an audible to the quick pass, where you take the one-step drop and get that football out quickly to this receiver. Now what's going to happen after you do this a couple of times to either side, what you're going to see now is either this. You're going to see the strong safety walk over and make sure he gets this guy covered. Or if he's back in his deep half, you're going to see this backer split the tackle and the wide receiver, try to get a good, getting at that window right there in case this guy runs that quick pass. Now what you want the receiver to do, still make that check call, but now you're talking to the slot and you're talking to the guy on the outside. You're going to call what we call a shake route. You're making a switch because this guy is going to speed up the field, because what's going to happen after you complete this quick pass a couple of times, the safety is going to try to walk down and meet it right there. Now you slow down, you speed up, you slow down, shuffle, wait till he gets right there, then you take off. Give a little shake, then you take off. Now you're able to hit the big play deep down the field. So it's all about sight adjustment pre-snap for Mike Glennon this week versus the Atlanta Falcons. And like I said before, when you see the uncovered guy at the line of scrimmage, abandon all responsibilities, throw the quick pass, take those cheap 3 to 4, sometimes 5 yards. And once you see the safety start to creep up, then you call the shake route, where he gives a little shimmy, takes off, and now you're able to hit a big play deep down the field. And that's how they can have some success. One way they can have success this week versus the Atlanta Falcons. And sticking with the theme of the sight adjustment pre-snap for the Atlanta Falcons, if they see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get aggressive with their safeties to try to stop the run out the shotgun, I think they can have a chance to hit a big play deep down the field on the skinny post. Show you what I'm talking about right here. We know the Falcons love to spread the field. See, we got trips to one side, single receiver on the opposite side, free safety in the hole is this alley defender right here versus the run. So if Matt Ryan pre-snap sees the safety still sitting back there, he's going to check to the run play. The shotgun draw is going to go here. Everybody's taking their zone step. Boom. Now you have one-on-one, hopefully with Jaquiz Rodgers making this guy miss. However, if you start to see this guy creep toward the line of scrimmage to cheat up a little bit to try to be a force versus the run, now you're making a check call, and this is basically two plays built into one. So you're going to check out of this run play, you're going to check to the skinny post where you're going to hit the big play right behind it. So again, sight adjustment, counting the box, making sure this guy stays where he's going to go. If he stays back there in his coverage, you stay with the running play. If he starts to cheat up, check to the skinny post. You can have a big play deep down the field this week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The X factor for the Buccaneers will be their pass rush. If you get in the face of Matt Ryan, he tends to get happy feet in the pocket, and that ball will come out quick, and you can rally up, make the tackle, and get these guys off the field. So that pass rush has to be first and foremost this week versus Atlanta. The X factor for Atlanta will be their red zone offense. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, quiet as kept, has very good red zone defense, and so you have to make sure this week you come away with 7 and not 3. They have to start paying off in the red zone, and it starts this week versus Tampa. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Tampa Bay, they must do a better job on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I believe right now the offensive line is struggling in pass pro. They're not firing off the football in the running game. And on the defensive side, they looked a little bit sluggish last week, especially early on in the ball game versus Philadelphia. They have to do a better job up front, and they have to play fast on defense. Right now, there's too much thinking going on out there on the field, and if you're a defense, if you're thinking out there defensively, you're losing. So they have to make sure they play fast, especially in the back seven, the linebackers and secondary. Too much thinking going on. You want to keep it precise and quick in the passing game, especially in between the 30s. The Buccaneers don't have the protection nor the speed for long developing routes, so they have to keep it precise until they get inside the 30-yard line. For the Falcons in this game, you want to find an increased role for rookie tight end Levine Tololo. Find ways to get him involved in the offense early in the ballgame. He's an outstanding receiving option and not just in the red zone. And the linebacker play has to improve. That's shedding blocks, attacking more, getting better run fits. That has to improve for this defense to improve as a whole. And I will go with more combo coverages this week versus Tampa Bay. Sometimes you may want to roll coverage toward Vincent Jackson. Sometimes you want to go man to the short side, zone to the field side. Give the rookie different looks back there, and that way you could probably get him on the ground because he's going to hold that football just a little bit too long. I like the Falcons in this ballgame. I think their offense will start to come around. They'll find ways to get both tight ends involved. They'll start to run the football with a quick game with Jaquiz Rodgers. And on defense, I think they'll do enough to frustrate what Tampa Bay wants to do offensively. I think they can man up on the receivers and get a lot of pressure on Mike Glennon. So I like the Falcons to take care of business at home versus Tampa Bay. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Falcon fan forums and Buccaneer fan forums for always showing football game plan support.